Greetings, my esteemed collaborators. I'm Rylan Peery, founding member owner of CoLab Cooperative. We're one of the world's first transnational worker-owned technology cooperatives. Pleased to be broadcasting to you from New York, the United States. My apologies to not be there with you in person, but we can use this as an experiment to see to the extent to which we can build solidarity using technology virtual presence means, but certainly with you in spirit. I'm going to very briefly zoom through a couple of keynotes. One, challenges that we faced as a transnational cooperative and potential models to help us improve our collaboration, our solidarity across nations. And then two, being a technology cooperative, what are some of the fundamental technologies, let's call them the 4 pillars of the next wave of cooperativism, 4 technological pillars of the next wave of cooperativism. We can draw upon some examples of projects that we're working on, and then also talk about some work that is emerging that we're excited to keep track of, to contribute to, and hopefully to grow together. So part 1, CoLab as a transnational cooperative, figuring this out as we go. When we started, we did not have a blueprint to follow. I didn't personally know of any worker-owned technology cooperative at the moment. It was coming out of the agricultural cooperative movement in Latin America that I applied to technology, coming out of Silicon Valley, very much an experiment. Subsequently, thankfully, we've met folks like yourselves, the ICA. We've begun together to share models of understanding, to develop capital resources. But if we can do it, if there are any young entrepreneurs out there, you can do it too. So definitely a quick shout out and encouragement to youth entrepreneurs out there. You can start your own tech co-op or otherwise co-op 100%, because we basically did it with very few resources other than grit and one key mentor ally, Lyft Economy. So that said, we're at a point where we do need some technical assistance in terms of figuring out how to continue growing and scaling. Our experiment has gone great to date. We have a member group in India, we have a member group in the EU, member group in the US, but we're struggling a little bit in terms of how much we can grow as a single centralized organization, starting to creep in terms of more member demand than we can meet in terms of organizational capacity. And so we really need to look at other models, and thankfully we have a partner, a research technical assistance partner, also a client, the Democracy Collaborative, who advises municipal governments how to spur cooperative development in their region, how best to use investment in the co-op movement to improve communities. And they've very generously agreed to work with us to envision the future of CoLab as a transnational worker-owned technology cooperative. Our hope is that some of that visioning can apply to work that you all are doing. So we are publishing this research together. We have a hard copy for you here if you'd like a little pre-release sneak peek. Can't go through the whole 20-30 pages here obviously, but I'm going to give you just a quick tour of a couple of the models. Not earth-shattering, but it's still significant in that mostly by pointing at the challenge, which is that we need to figure out new structural models that transcend some of these lines of division created by tax code, created by legal structures. And so we're trying to figure out what are the structural workarounds that help us to work together and build solidarity, critical issue obviously of the 21st century. So part 1, quick tour of those models. Part 2, 4 pillars of the next wave of cooperativism, 4 technological pillars. Okay, so part 1. What are a couple models that we're looking at? Again, so ICA, great pioneers in this. So this will sound somewhat familiar, but a federation of regional-based cooperatives, say EU, India, US, eventually South America, each relatively independent, but bound together by a network of shared understandings, shared value flows, shared agreements, memorandums of understanding. So this is lightweight, fast, quick to implement, something that we can and likely will prototype, in the next month or two. Risk here, we're not super tightly bound unless that trust and solidarity is strong in terms of these agreements. There's some risk that the different regions would fragment. And there's real questions there around, well, how much international solidarity are you building? if you are primarily an EU-based co-op, primarily a US-based co-op in terms of your day-to-day operations. So not necessarily as much cross-pollination, as much fostering of international solidarity as we would like in terms of our mission. Which brings us to option 2, and again, all these need to be validated by our own member ownership, so work in progress. Can't promise any decisions will be made by us in terms of our exact path, but maybe the decision-making process is helpful to you as you consider these questions of international solidarity. So option 2, again, regional focus helps to make the legal tax complexities more simple, fast, easy to spin up. But then the glue, the international solidarity component, comes from a shared organization. I'm going to suggest that it could be a nonprofit or foundation. It could also be a for-profit company, but the model we're considering, the foundation, which includes representatives of each of the regional cooperatives. And the foundation's charter is fundamentally co-op development support. That includes being a tech co-op, development of technology, tools, products. Could include in-person skill building training, retreats, gatherings, in-person meetups for the different co-ops who are part of the network. So it provides, there's a single organization in that case whose primary role is to support cooperative development, to support solidarity between co-ops in the network. And this is a model that we're very excited about and are continuing to discuss. And again, many other models that are informing our decision-making process as we look at how do you scale a transnational cooperative available via this report. Either my peer Rocky here can give you a hard copy, or please be in touch via the interwebs. And again, also you can keep an eye out for the Democracy Collaborative announcing the digital copy that being available shortly. And we'd love to hear from you. Frankly, this is very much a work in progress, trying to figure out how can we collaborate collectively better. I know you all are also grappling with similar issues here in the Asia-Pacific region, so we'd also love to hear from you as to what's working in your respective region and your respective work. And that actually brings me to point number 2. So pillars of, technological pillars of supporting the cooperative movement. What can we do together to grow the movement? One key pillar of that, and we're very pleased to announce a new collaboration or emerging collaboration with ICA-AP and CoLab to launch a site called theworldofwork.coop, which will fundamentally help us to engage in this discussion, to share resources, models like the one that I'm speaking of, that can inspire us to launch and support the next wave of cooperatives. So that when the youth join the movement, they don't need to fumble around as we did. They have mentors, they have models, they have sample bylaws, they have toolkits for the work that Trevor's doing. All that needs a home. So we're proposing, and we'd love to hear from you if you think this would be helpful, but proposing the worldofwork.coop as one of those central gathering places where we can share resources and where we can converse and where we can provide mentorship opportunities to new co-ops as they come online. So that's the first pillar: knowledge sharing, collaboration, mentorship, a hub of sorts, which can then link to, there's a couple fundamental, what are the 2 other critical pieces of the co-op movement? So it's economy. So we need a marketplace, but specifically a cooperative marketplace. For this piece, CoLab has prototyped something called upandgo.coop. You may have heard of it. A marketplace for cooperative services in New York City. Grown 250%-ish in the last 2 years. Tens of thousands, $100,000 moving through the cooperative economy that was not flowing through it via this platform. Those are very general numbers, but ballparking. But growing, significantly, exponentially in a single market. All of the major markets of the world, in our opinion, humble opinion, need cooperative marketplaces like this. In the case of New York City, it's cleaning services, not just cleaning services, ride-sharing services, dog walking services. The list goes on. Products, cooperative products, co-op made as a mark, as a consumer mark, like organic, like fair trade. That connotates value, premium quality. This is all under the banner of strong cooperative marketplaces in our respective regions that establish clearly, that grow the cooperative value proposition with consumers, and that then initiate the engagement, which brings me to the next pillar, the engagement ladder of participation in the co-op movement so that consumers move from consumers to cooperators and to collaborators, to actually participating actively in the movement. We need an organizing platform, a communication platform, a tool for driving engagement, for organizing, for communicating. For that piece, we're currently working with a group called GetUp. They're based in Australia, but we're hoping to extend this communication engagement platform to other regions, to the Asia Pacific region. GetUp.com, you can take a look. But history already of successfully organizing groups, of getting them on board in terms of a central communication tool, and then multimodal, whether it's text, whether it's email, engaging them and taking action on behalf of their community, on behalf of cooperative economy. Organizing tool, pillar 3, and I'm giving you a couple specific examples, but clearly we need multiple examples of each of these pillars, and I'm just speaking from the ones that I'm most familiar with because they're projects that we're working on. Last but certainly not least, we need tools of governance. If we're going to bring in a wave of cooperativism that scales, new cooperative platforms, we need to figure out how to govern effectively. What if democracy was born in an age of technology, where we had technology to use to participate in our governments, in our governance, in our democracies? What would that look like? What would that technology look like? This is a question that we're writing together. Lumio, obviously done some amazing work there that we use ourselves in terms of governance. I know, IDRC, Inclusive Design Research Group, Trevor, are also working on tools of governance at scale. We'd love to hear other, tools that you're aware of. Fundamental question: how do we work together to govern in a way that's fair and just, that upholds our values, our cooperative values? The fourth pillar that we see in this cooperative platform ecosystem of technologies, supporting the next wave of cooperative movement, supporting youth, jumping on board. I don't think I overstate it when I feel like you're with me on this. The future of humanity depends upon us learning to cooperate, learning to collaborate across our different nations, across our different ideologies, across all these lines and silos that have been created for us, including by legal taxation lines. We need to figure out how we can collectively build solidarity despite all of those. For me, cooperativism is fundamentally the solution to that, and I would invite all of you to engage with us further in dialogue on how we can better work in solidarity, from our respective regions. Again, please be in touch regarding the World of Work.coop with our ICA-AP peers. They would be happy to field your interest, whether it's sharing resources on the platform, supporting the platform fiscally, or in terms of sharing your needs that the platform could help to meet. Likewise, myself and Rocky, my coworker here, are available to discuss the platform as it comes online. Happy to, again, keep you posted as that develops, and likewise share our research on there as it becomes available. And likewise, I'm sure our peers at ICA-AP will be sharing their research, and we'd love to read your research and learn more about the work that you're up to. So please do stay in touch. And with that, a warm and fond cooperative greeting and farewell to you. I look forward to connecting both in person in the future and of course via the interwebs. Thank you.